is going on? Welcome to this introductory video. I really just wanted to make a quick video to explain a bit about who I am and what you can expect should you choose to work with me, or if you're just curious to know who the man is behind all my videos. So I want to make this as short as possible, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Mind you, you probably did already reach out to me, and that's why you're watching this video, because I sent it to you. That said, when I was a little kid, I'm currently 29 years old. When I was a little kid, I wanted to know what makes the difference. Not really in the quality of people's lives. That's what my mentor says, and that's almost where I went. No, that's not true. I wanted to know, why do people do what they do? That was my burning question. Why do people do what they do? Because there'd be times where I would be super loving, super kind, super courteous, and there'd also be times where I was a complete fucking dick. And so I understood at some degree when other people were being rude too, but then I'd see other people who are being super nice and they seem to always be this way. And I'm like, what's the difference between this? Because I understand that I've been rude too, but I've also been super loving. So what's making the difference? Skipping to high school, it seemed like everybody and their mother had a label: bipolar, depression, this, that, anxiety disorder, whatever it might be. But everybody was in therapy. Nobody was really getting help. And my definition of help was always, if I have this problem and I'm getting help, it will be solved. AKA the problem won't be there, or I'll feel better, or I'll have a different result. Like there'll be something that changed. I also thought, when change happens, it must be quick, because if I learn to be afraid of a spider, if I learn to be afraid of relationships, I should be able to unlearn that just as fast, theoretically. And it turns out it's true. But going back to my point, nobody seemed like they were getting results. And so originally I wanted to be a therapist, but because I didn't see anyone getting results there, and after looking online at a bunch of schools, I saw that nothing really jumped out at me. Everything was talking about learning to diagnose and learning to treat a client and learning about medications and all that. And it wasn't talking about learning to understand how emotions are created, how we can change someone's emotional state, how we can change their emotional well-being to get them to take different actions, to have a different outcome, to have a different life, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, this is not really what I see myself doing, crossing my legs and being in a therapy session, writing some notes and telling the person, how do you feel about that? And then I'll see you next week. That wasn't really what my dream life was going to look like. And I wanted to really help people. I'm not in the business I'm in to make money, although to a degree, obviously I am. I'm really in this to make a fucking difference and create an impact. And so that wasn't hopping out at me, but I really wanted to help people. But I figured I'm going to wait until I find somebody or something that pops out at me that gets me closer to what I really want to do, what, matches the picture inside my mind. Skip forward. I was on a construction site. I worked construction at the time, and in construction, you're always told to hurry up and wait. So I'm waiting behind this building with a coworker of mine, and he's like all wah, wah, wah. And at the time, I was getting into motivation, and I was motivating or inspiring him, so to speak. And 2 minutes in, 3 minutes into me doing this, he's like, yeah, you're right. Life is great, blah, 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 whatever it was. At the time, I didn't realize what I was doing was I changed his focus. And so he changed his state. Therefore, everything in his mind was, oh my God, life's great. And so he turns to me, he pauses, and he goes, you remind me of? And I was like, no, who? He said, this guy named Tony Robbins. You should go home and watch his movie on Netflix called I Am Not Your Guru. I was like, all right, cool. When I watched this movie, it was everything that I wanted to be. This man was having someone stand up who he'd not met. And whether they were suicidal, they had fear, they were struggling with depression, they had a marriage issue, they had a business issue, they were dealing with a conflict in their life or a decision that they had to make. It didn't matter what it was. This man was like solved within a few minutes to a couple of hours, and the change lasted. So it was quick, and the change lasted through time. I was obsessed. I was crying. I was motivated. I was inspired in this movie. And I thought, I need to learn what he's doing, because that's what I want to do. I got obsessed with his books, and then found out he had a training online where him and a family therapist joined forces to show people how to create lasting change in people very quickly and in a practical way without the use of labels and medications and all that. And so I became obsessed with it, but it didn't end there. I started when I was 21 years old, so it was 8 years ago, and nobody believed that I could help them. And why would they? I was 21. What am I going to help you with? going to high school. Like, what do I have to prove? What do I have to show? So I thought, here's what I'm going to do. After about a year of trying and nothing worked to get one client to help one person, I thought I am going to look for someone who has had a lifelong problem, a phobia, a trauma, something of that nature, and I'm just going to help them through it. But I'm going to do it live stream over Facebook and Instagram. That way there's more reach. Driving to this person's house, shitting my pants. I set up my tripods, I put it on there, and I was able to help this woman in 25 minutes. There's video footage of this, by the way. I laugh because it's funny. You can see how nervous I am, but it worked. I helped the person through it. And that became my proof to myself that I could do it, create lasting change like this, because it's about, I don't know how many years we are in now, but the point of the matter is it's been several years and she is feeling great still. We talk all the time because I'm so thankful to her for having me basically be able to start my career. But long story short, that kind of began my career. And whether it was someone who went through severe trauma like this woman.
Tyler literally changed my life in like 5 minutes. That's not an exaggeration. I'm not stretching the truth. He literally took my trauma and poof, it's gone.
Or whether it was someone who was feeling suicidal like this woman here.
Ever since I met Tyler, since we started working together, I went from suicidal to now thriving in every aspect of my life.
Or panic attacks.
I was having anxiety and panic attacks at least once a week. So I would say less than 4 weeks after hiring Tyler, my anxiety attacks were completely gone.
I learned that I could basically help anybody through anything, but not because I'm so special. I just learned these patterns. And so when I took this man's program and I began looking at everything to do with human behavior, it became very clear and obvious about a couple things. Our behavior, meaning the actions that we take, the things that we do, is coming from the emotional state that we're in. It's not who we are. I'm sure you've had a moment where you did something and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Right? But you've also had a moment where you did something or you said something and you're like, that was me, right? That's not because your ability was different. It was just the state that you were in. And so I learned that number one, if I can shift somebody's emotional state, how they're feeling, they will automatically do something differently. Secondly, if I can get them to meet their needs in a different way, they will just have different behaviors through time. It'll permanently change because anything that meets a bunch of our needs at once becomes an addiction. It becomes a habit. So if I could get someone away from depression and anger and just these thoughts and feelings that are messing up their life, and I can make them or help them to feel confident or excited or fulfilled or whatever it might be, and those new emotions and behaviors meet their needs more than the previous ones, it'll create lasting change. So this is a little bit about who I am and where I've come from. And if you're interested in learning more about me because you just wanted to know the man behind these videos, I hope this sufficed. Reach out for me if you have any other questions. And if you were interested in who I am and what I'm all about because you might want my help, I'm happy to help you as well. So reach out to me and DM me that you want my help, and we'll talk about how I might be able to help you, learn what it is that you want, what's preventing you from getting it, and we'll get you out of your own way. Make sure that you have the strategies and tools to make that happen quickly and effectively. That's what I'm all about. So if you want a sounding board of someone to listen to you and just kind of chat things out week to week, day to day about what's going on in your life, I might not be the person for you. But if you're looking for new results in your life, if you're looking to really feel better quickly and get your life back on track, right? Get clear on what exactly it is that you want and get the emotionals. That didn't make sense. Get into the emotional state where you'll take effective action and also learn the tools and strategies to get to that kind of dream outcome, that life result that you want, then I'm probably the guy for you. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully this gave you some background, and we'll chat with you soon.